Let's go.
The landlord warned me, but I didn't listen. Fearful, a haunted house story. I don't believe in ghosts or supernatural things. I have enough confidence in my courage, which is why I agreed to stay in this eerie, unfamiliar area. The house I'm in is surrounded by quite thrilling stories. These tales are quite entertaining to listen to. My colleagues would often show interest in hearing new stories about this house from me. They assumed I wasn't leaving out of embarrassment. Many have dared to stay in this house, but no one could last long. Even the landlord doesn't live here. The house had been abandoned for 2 to 3 years. The landlord was unwilling to rent it out, but I practically forced him to let me stay. It's a huge house. Just the exterior gives you chills. To the south, there's a large bamboo grove, and to the north, a fairly big pond. The pond's water is crystal clear. It was summer, so I chose the south-facing room to stay in. To assist me, I kept a brave village boy named Cater close by. He's 17, well-built, and never hesitates to work. Even after working all day, fatigue doesn't seem to touch him. He stays in the room next to mine. The first 5 to 7 days passed without incident. Then came the first strange occurrence. One evening, around 7 p.m., I changed clothes and went to the wash basin to splash water on my face. As I wiped my face and looked into the mirror, I thought I saw a streak of light move behind me. I turned around but saw nothing. I dismissed it as my imagination. But moments later, it happened again. The light moved from one wall to another before vanishing. Since this was my first encounter with something unusual, a shiver ran down my spine. Cater returned from the market shortly after. We cooked together, ate, and by 10 p.m., he went to sleep. I lay awake, trying to rationalize the evening's events. Suddenly, the power went out. My bed was aligned north-south, so my feet pointed south. Moonlight streamed in through the south-facing window, casting an eerie glow. The play of light and shadows from the bamboo grove outside was mesmerizing, and I must have dozed off without realizing it. I have a habit of covering myself with a blanket up to my knees, even in extreme heat. Mid-sleep, I felt the blanket slip away. I pulled it back up and closed my eyes. Moments later, it felt like the blanket was slowly sliding off again. Too tired to open my eyes, I ignored it. But then, it felt like the blanket was being yanked away. Startled, I sat up and noticed a shadow darting past the window. Part of the blanket was hanging outside. I yanked it back inside, and immediately, a shrill, mocking laughter echoed from the bamboo grove. A cold wave shot down my spine. My body went numb. I felt like I was dying. In the distance, I saw the distinct silhouette of a woman moving away. Just before vanishing, she glanced back at me, her eyes burning with rage. I sat frozen for a long time before mustering the strength to move. Just then, I witnessed another paranormal event. The chair beside me levitated an inch off the ground, spinning rhythmically before suddenly shooting up 2 feet and crashing down violently, as if thrown by an invisible force. A scream tore from my throat. Cater rushed in, asking if I'd had a nightmare. I couldn't speak, only managed to ask for water. After drinking, the power returned. Cater left, and I shut the window, keeping the lights on all night while listening to music. I didn't tell anyone, not even Cater, knowing my colleagues would laugh. The next evening, after returning from work, I went to wash up. The tap didn't work at first, then suddenly gushed at full force before stopping abruptly as I touched the water. As I turned to leave, an unseen splash drenched me. Terrified, I hurried back to my room, throat dry. Talking to Cater eased my fear a little. Around 11 p.m., after Cater went to bed, I dozed off but was jolted awake by the sound of anklets tinkling. For an hour, I strained to hear it again. Then, distinctly, the sound traveled from near my head to the window and stopped. The rest of the night passed quietly, but I had the same strange dream again. Over the next 6 to 7 nights, I occasionally heard deep sobbing. But every night, the same dream recurred. In it, hundreds of terrified people stood outside the house. The landlord, tearful, kept saying something. Tonight's dream was worse. The crowd murmured about suicide and Amavasya, the new moon night. Someone said, "This always happens on Amavasya." I woke up drenched in sweat, my forehead burning, 104 degrees Fahrenheit fever. I dragged myself to work but couldn't focus, haunted by thoughts of Amavasya. Later, I asked Kader about the house's history. He revealed that a family, parents, 2 sons, and a daughter, had lived here. Financial struggles led to constant fights. One night, the parents and daughter hanged themselves, while the sons were poisoned. Stunned, I asked if he'd ever seen anything. "Footprints," he said. "Tiny ones, like a child's. And crying, a child's cries." Hesitantly, I asked about Amavasya. He tensed but claimed not to know the date. That night, around 10 p.m., I lay down. A nightjar bird called incessantly outside. At 11, the power went out. I lit a candle. Just as drowsiness set in, I heard whispering near my head. The fan blades rattled violently. Then, Kader's blood-curdling scream sent me sprinting to his room. He was writhing on the floor, blood streaming from his ear. "Save me. They'll kill me," he begged. I bandaged him, and we sat in silence. Then, anklet sounds approached the door. The candle flickered out. Darkness swallowed us. Kader clung to me as the sound neared. Suddenly, a mirror in the next room shattered. The anklet sound stopped at our door, then advanced. Kader bolted. I chased him with my phone's flashlight but tripped and blacked out. When I came to, the flashlight still glowed. The floor was slick with blood. My head throbbed. Dragging myself to Kader's room, I recoiled at the horrific sight, then forced myself back inside. His body hung from the fan, eyes bulging, tongue lolling. A voice hissed, "Leave. Tonight is Amavasya." My phone died. Darkness returned, and through it, the anklet sounds drew closer. The story ends